three monks. Each man follows the Buddha's teachings. But when we ask them what their ultimate goal is, they all give a different answer. The first monk states, "My goal is to free myself from the wheel of suffering forever." While the second says, "I will sacrifice my freedom to liberate every living being." And the last one declares, "I will become what the Buddha became, and I will do so in this body and in this lifetime." Today on Easternized, we go on a spiritual journey with these three monks to understand how three radically different branches of Buddhism came to exist, all of which derived from one man's enlightenment 2,500 years ago. And once we cover the basics, we'll seek to understand the profound truths each of these monks can teach us about ending suffering, finding purpose, and transforming our own lives. Before we explore what makes these three paths different, we must briefly understand what binds them together. Because, despite their divergent goals, all three traditions emerged from the same source. Every Buddhist monk, whether Theravada, Mahayana, or Vajrayana, accepts the Buddha's fundamental diagnosis that all humans suffer. Yet, despite the inevitability of suffering, they all believe there's a way out. Each of their practices are built on the same foundations: ethical discipline, meditation, and wisdom. Regardless of which path they choose, they all vow to avoid killing, stealing, lying, sexual misconduct, and intoxication. They renounce worldly attachments and choose to live simply by dedicating their lives to awakening. Regardless of their individual goals, all monks seek to free their minds from delusion. They do so through meditation and by studying the nature of reality. Yet amidst these common themes, a pivotal question emerged following the Buddha's death. What exactly did he achieve? And, maybe just as important, who else can achieve it? To understand how each Buddhist practice is unique, we'll look at three key elements: geographies, goals, and methods. Once those are understood, we'll offer a real-world application you can practice to allow the wisdom of monks into your own life. We start in South and Southeast Asia, where Theravada Buddhism reigns supreme. This is the oldest Buddhist practice, and its influence has travelled far from its origins in India, as it's now heavily practiced in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos. If we recall the goals of our three monks, the Theravada monk was the one who claimed he would free himself from suffering forever. His goal is to escape samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, by becoming an arhat, someone who has completely eradicated cravings, hatred, and ignorance. If he is able to achieve this goal, he can escape suffering and find personal liberation and freedom. He understands that Buddha was the teacher who blazed this path, and it's now his journey to walk it. The path he'll walk is called the gradual path, a step-by-step journey towards enlightenment. To do this, he must demonstrate perfect ethical conduct by following the 227 precepts, rules that cover everything from when he can eat to how he should sit. Why? Because ethical purity creates the foundation for meditation. And regarding meditation, this monk will practice vipassana, or insight meditation. He'll spend hour after hour observing his breath and sensations, while directly reflecting on the three marks of existence. Everything is impermanent, everything involves suffering, and there is no unchanging self. To understand the wisdom of Buddha, he will study the Pali Canon, the oldest Buddhist texts containing the Buddha's teachings in their original language, Pali. Of course, we ourselves don't have to commit to monkhood to learn from Theravada's wisdom. We must simply embrace its core principle, that we alone are responsible for our liberation. No one can walk our path for us, or hand us enlightenment. Our addictions, anxiety, and anger can't be cured by therapy or support. While these tools may assist with healing, nothing will be truly fixed until we take accountability and do the work ourselves. And you can start this practice today by embracing your personal responsibility. Next time you're suffering, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask, what am I clinging to that's causing this suffering? What can I let go of? Take 10 minutes today to sit quietly and watch your breath. Notice how your thoughts arise and pass away, and how sensations come and go. Everything is impermanent, even your suffering. But only by seeing this for yourself can you receive the gift of the Theravada path, the freedom that comes from taking complete ownership of your mind. But not every Buddhist agrees with this approach, and there are deep questions the Theravada path raises. Most significantly, if you are able to achieve liberation, what happens to everyone else? Around the years 100 through 400, more revolutionary questions started to emerge. What if personal liberation isn't enough? Or, more harshly, what if achieving your own freedom while others suffer is actually selfish? These questions gave birth to Mahayana Buddhism, a practice that spread north and east, with its first stop in China, where Chan Buddhism arose as a practice heavily influenced by Taoist and Confucian beliefs. From there, it spread into Korea to form Son Buddhism, and then to Japan, where Zen Buddhism came to exist. Today, it's a dominant practice in these countries, as well as Taiwan, Vietnam, and a few others. But regardless of which school is practiced, they all share the common goal of the second monk in our story. A goal to sacrifice individual freedom in pursuit of liberation for every living being. Rather than seeking to become an arhat, a Mahayana monk dedicates his life to becoming a bodhisattva, or an enlightenment being. He vows not to enter final nirvana until every sentient being is liberated from suffering, even if it takes multiple lifetimes. When you ask him what he believes the Buddha achieved, he'll say he did more than escape suffering. He became a being of infinite compassion with the power to help countless others, a goal our monk is pursuing as well. To achieve this goal, he follows the paramitas, or the 6 perfections. These are generosity, ethical conduct, patience, diligent effort, meditation, and wisdom. To practice these perfections, Mahayana Buddhism introduced new scriptures, notably the Heart Sutra, Lotus Sutra, and Diamond Sutra, all of which reveal deeper teachings the Buddha offered to his advanced disciples, teachings about reality itself. One of the beauties of these teachings is they present the opportunity to have more than one Buddha. In Mahayana, there are countless Buddhas that exist across infinite universes. This isn't polytheism, but rather it's recognizing enlightened consciousness can manifest in infinite forms to help others in infinite ways. The differences between Mahayana and Theravada offer us different takeaways for our own lives as well. Because Mahayana's core insight teaches that our individual liberation is inseparable from the liberation of others, we learn that compassion is the key to awakening. Think about your own life. Have you ever noticed your happiest moments come when you help someone else? This isn't coincidence. This is the Bodhisattva path revealing itself. When you genuinely care for another being, your ego briefly dissolves, and you get a small taste of enlightenment. To practice this today, simply make an effort to go beyond yourself. If you're having a difficult conversation, don't get defensive. Instead, ask yourself, how can I help this person suffer less? Whenever you're feeling stuck in your own problems, find one way, just one, to ease someone else's burden. This will shift your consciousness out of the prison that is self-centered thinking. The Mahayana monk bows to everyone he meets, not because they're superior, but because he recognizes the Buddha within them. Imagine if you treated every person you encounter as if they carry that same potential. How would you speak to them? How would you listen? That's the gift of the Mahayana path. The freedom that comes from realizing your happiness depends on the happiness of others. But this path raises its own questions as well. While a bodhisattva's purpose is to be reborn for billions of years to save all beings, another Buddhist practice emerged when people started asking, what if there's a way to accelerate enlightenment? When these questions surfaced, they sparked our third and final practice, a practice that promises full enlightenment in this lifetime. Like all Buddhist practices, Vajrayana's roots started in India, but it didn't flourish until it became the dominant form in Tibet around the 8th century. Today, it's commonly practiced in Tibet, Bhutan, Mongolia, and parts of Nepal and northern India. A major reason for Vajrayana's popularity is the promise it makes, which we learn about from our third monk, the one whose goal was to become what the Buddha became, and do so in this body and in this lifetime. Rather than seeking to become an arhat or bodhisattva, his goal is to become a Buddha himself. He believes this is possible because we're all already enlightened. We simply don't recognize it. But unlocking this enlightenment is far from easy. To achieve his goal, our third monk uses powerful techniques to cut through delusion with fast, intense, and dangerous methods. And yes, his methods are dangerous. Practicing them incorrectly risks destabilizing his mind, which is why teachings are only given to prepared students by qualified teachers. These teachers, known as lamas or gurus, are viewed as inseparable from the Buddha himself, and they teach tantras, esoteric practices designed to radically accelerate awakening. The first of which is that mondro, a set of preliminary practices that involve 100,000 prostrations, 100,000 refuge prayers, 100,000 purification mantras, 100,000 mandala offerings, and 100,000 guru yoga sessions. Each of these actions prepare the monk and purify his mind for what comes next, deity yoga. This is the heart of Vajrayana, and it goes beyond merely mediating to a deity. It's visualizing oneself as the deity. This trains his mind to recognize its enlightened nature by identifying with an already enlightened form. So what can we extract from Vajrayana if we ourselves aren't prepared for such an intense commitment? The core insight is simple. You already are what you're seeking to become. This isn't just positive thinking or affirmation. It's a direct assault on self-concept. Think about your life right now. What's your story about yourself? Do you tell yourself things like, "I'm not confident," "I'm not creative," or "I'm not the kind of person who..." fill in the blank. While these stories can all feel true, they're just habits of thought. To apply the wisdom of Vajrayana, start with the practice of identity shifting. Before you enter a challenging situation, don't go in as anxious you. Make a conscious effort to embody wise you, the version of yourself that's calm, clear, and compassionate. Envision how that version would sit, how they would breathe, how they would listen. This isn't a matter of fake it till you make it. This is recognizing that you contain multitudes. The anxious version of you is real, but so is the confident one. Vajrayana teaches that the version you identify with is a choice, and with practice, that choice becomes easier. Eventually, you recognize that your true self isn't a fixed identity. It's the awareness that you can embody anything. 3 monks. 3 answers to the same question. These practices aren't contradicting each other. They're describing the same truth from different angles, emphasizing different aspects of the journey. So which path is correct? To answer this, think of enlightenment as a mountain peak. To reach the top, Theravada takes the steady, disciplined route, going step by step, without shortcuts, relying solely on one's own effort. Mahayana takes the communal route, roped together to ensure no one gets left behind. Vajrayana takes the direct route, steep, dangerous, and only possible with a guide who can help you reach the summit faster. Different paths, same destination. Buddhism split into 3 vehicles not because of conflict, but because humans are diverse. Some people need structure and gradual progress. Some need community and purpose. And some need radical methods and direct coaching. So the next time you encounter suffering in your own life, remember you have 3 approaches that can help. And the real question isn't which path is right. It is simply, which teaching do you need to hear right now? If this exploration resonated with you, let me know in the comments which tradition's wisdom spoke to you most. Are you drawn to Theravada's self-reliance, Mahayana's compassion, or Vajrayana's transformation? Or maybe all 3? And if you want to go deeper into Eastern wisdom, consider subscribing to Easternized. Thanks for watching. Until next time.